Big game this week. The Grizz, Montana State.
Why the change inside today?
I just wanted to really focus on the details of the game plan. We had 2 good days outside the last 2 days, and today was about really fine-tuning things and making sure we were on point.
Can you tell us about your decision on quarterback?
Yeah, it just felt right. I loved how Nick had looked the last couple of days, and Keith's not 100%. Obviously, we can tell. I thought Keith looked much better again today. He's moving better. I think he'll be available for us, emergency status type Saturday. But for our team, and is the right thing to do. For Keith, it was the right thing to do. And Nicky's earned it. He's done a nice job.
Was there something that happened this morning? I mean, did Keith wake up sore? Or was there something?
No. It's tough to put a kid in there who has to practice all week. I don't think that's fair to Keith. I don't think that's fair to our football team. And Nick has shown the progress and his understanding of what we're trying to do in the game and has executed well.
When did Alameda get dinged up?
It's actually from the game, and then we just wanted to rest it. Quite honestly, he's got a rolled ankle that he's trying to get the swelling completely out of it for Saturday.
So he's still.
He's fine. He'll play.
The hope, obviously, with Keith is that he's then back next week and can play.
Sure.
Or
yeah, that's the idea. Just want to get the kid healthy.
How much does it help Nick, though, to have that kind of peace of mind, knowing you're the starter, to mentally prepare yourself a few days?
I think it's big. I think it. I actually called him last night. I had a feeling last night after watching the film, and so there's that let it settle in feeling, and the confidence in knowing that we believe in him, that his teammates believe in him, and so it's a great feeling to have.
Watching the film at practice, you watched.
Yeah.
And after watching that, why did you say? Okay,
for him in those elements yesterday as we had outside, I thought he threw the ball about as good as I've seen a guy throw it in those elements, and so. I was just really impressed with everything he did.
Is there an area of his game where he's progressed the most since he's been here or since this year?
I think just ultimately the speed in which he's playing. The speed, he's gotten faster and faster and faster. It's never been about his smarts. He's a bright kid. Obviously, you understand the system, and you get more of an understanding. And you start to learn defenses, and those two things coming together with his mechanics have allowed him to play faster.
You said earlier this week the defense is kind of coming on a little bit.
Yeah.
Could maybe, you've played such big offenses lately. Could maybe Saturday be one of those games where we really kind of see a little more?
I just think regardless of who we're playing, I think we've improved. I really do. And, we've got obviously a challenge in their ability to throw the football. Oregon State with all 4 of those guys, the 3 wideouts and the tight end. And so we've got our work cut out for us on that aspect of it. But the key for us is always we've got to stop the run initially, and then hopefully we can apply some pressure to the quarterback. But to do that, we've got to make sure we're covering well downfield.
I know you don't really know what they're going to do, but do you anticipate now that they know that Nick's going to start that would change in any way?
I don't think so. We're not changing, and I doubt they'll change. We've got our offense in place. We can't change it overnight. We'll call the things accordingly, and they've got a defense that they've been running for years now that they know extremely well, and they'll execute it.
I guess the thought would be you try to really pressure a young quarterback.
That is a school of thought for some people. Other people, it is sit back and play zone and wait them out too. There's 2 sides to it.
See, the offensive line, key thought for this week in terms of what you've seen out of them?
I thought they've gotten better. It was an intense week. Got a little chippy the last couple days in full pads. I think their pride is a little bruised, and they want to come out and play well.
Is there something about social media you like announcing things like that? Or is there a rhyme or reason as to why you do that?
Why not? I guess the world we live in now, right? So I don't know. It's kind of unique. It gives our perspective for our fans to see it from a different angle. You guys are still all right about it. It doesn't change.
Is it something? Did the players find out that way, or did you?
No, I told the team.
James, anyway, that's the every day, but is he doing all right?
He'll be out there. He'll have a role. I don't know how significant, how big it'll be, but he'll have a role.
And anybody else then, health-wise, any change since
Gary Gilliland, from the stinger in the game, is not looking great. I put him at doubtful for Saturday.
Did Joe Montana have a little bounce in his step right here today watching it?
I think he's just a proud dad.
Do you talk to him this week at all, or it's no, yeah.
It's just again, to get back to Joe and Jennifer, throughout this entire process, they've been parents, and we treat them just like every other parent. There's nothing special about it. It's that and that's how they are. Everett Thompson's parents were here today too, watching practice.
He didn't say that it's terrible.
No.
Is there any way to gauge sense of urgency to
Well, I think we're a little, on edge is the best way to say it. I'm glad it's a 12:30 kickoff, that we can get up and go and not sitting around waiting. And our guys want to perform, that they want to go play. I think that when you don't perform well in a ball game, you want the opportunity to get back out and do it again. And they had to wait a week, and so I think they're kind of chomping at the bit to get out there. It'll be key for us to really come out with a lot of energy, because we know Oregon State's going to have quite a bit of energy at senior day, and Reser Stadium's always kind of a little bit of a hostile environment, so we got to make sure our energy's right, and we got to start from the opening whistle. We got to play.
Is Chris Polk one of those guys? I mean, he obviously didn't have the game he wanted last week, and for a variety of reasons. But I mean, do you notice anything different in his demeanor?
He's ready. I watch Chris closely all the time, and I get a pretty good feel for him. And he looks good. He looks how I like him when he looks this way.
Steve, I know in theory you talked about how the offense doesn't change when Nick gets in the game. But have you noticed that the players, do they react different as to when Keith's in the game as opposed to when Nick
I
is in
don't
the
know
game?
enough. I probably don't have enough information, quite honestly. I think they love both the guys. They're both great guys. They're tremendous team players. They both work extremely hard. And the guys respect them for that. And I think that's the ultimate team response you want. You want your teammates to respect you. They don't always have to like you, right? But if they respect you, then you go play with them.
And this week, obviously, he knew from Monday there was a chance this could happen. I mean, has he been any different in practice this week? Or?
Quite honestly.
He had that typical Keith demeanor going to Oregon last year. What do you expect him to be?
That's natural. I'm sure he's going to have a few nerves. That's all competitors do. That's because you love the opportunity to go compete. But one play and you start playing. Great guys.
Thank you.
See you.